I needed air.
The argument started over something so small, the kind of stupid disagreement couples usually forget about within an hour, but then she said it. That one sharp sentence that felt like it sliced straight through my chest. She smirked, a cruel, unfamiliar look on her face, and told me she could replace me in 24 hours, just like that. The room went completely silent, so quiet it felt like the walls themselves were embarrassed for her. I just stared at her, trying to figure out when the woman I married had turned into this cold stranger, someone who treated me like a broken appliance, an inconvenience she could just toss out. I finally found my voice and asked her, "Who do you think you're talking to?" She just rolled her eyes, turned, and walked away, leaving me standing there with this hot anger simmering right beneath my ribs. Later that night, I was still sitting in the living room when she came downstairs, purse in hand. She said she needed some air. I asked her where she was going. She shot back that it didn't matter because she wouldn't be long. The front door slammed shut, and the sound echoed in the empty hallway, each reverberation feeling like a punch. I sat there on the couch, her words replaying over and over in my head. Replace me in 24 hours. Like I was a faulty phone charger she could just swap out whenever she felt like it. My first instinct was to run after her, to demand an explanation, to fight. But I didn't. Instead, I opened my laptop and started to think. Really think. Something had been off between us for months. There was a distance, a coldness I couldn't quite put my finger on. I'd been too gentle, too afraid to push, hoping it would just fix itself. But her confidence tonight, that casual cruelty, it wasn't just arrogance, it was familiarity. The kind of familiarity you have with someone who's already waiting in the wings. A backup plan. I remembered something she'd agreed to years ago, something she had probably long forgotten about. A location sharing feature on her phone. My chest tightened as I opened the app, and there it was. Her location pin was sitting right on top of a hotel across town. It wasn't a friend's house, it wasn't a late-night coffee shop, it was a hotel. The anger was there, but a strange sense of calm settled over me. I wasn't going to storm in there like some raging, jealous husband. I didn't want a messy, chaotic scene. I wanted the truth, and I wanted it on my own terms. I drove there quietly, parking far enough away that my car wouldn't be noticed. I walked towards the lobby, my heart pounding a steady, heavy rhythm against my ribs. Through the large glass windows, I saw her. She was waiting for the elevator. And then a man in a crisp navy suit walked up and stood beside her. They didn't touch, not a single brush of the hand or arm. But the space between them buzzed with that invisible, electric tension that only couples share. The way they stood, the way they looked at each other without looking, it was all there. I pulled out my phone and recorded the moment, not for revenge, but for clarity. For my own sanity. I needed proof that I wasn't going crazy, that I wasn't just imagining things. Then I left without confronting them. I wanted her to be the one to reveal her truth. I wanted to see how far the lie would go. When she finally came home hours later, well after midnight, she smelled like new cologne and suffocating guilt. She looked startled to see me awake on the couch. "Why are you still up?" she asked, her voice a little too high. I just looked at her and asked, "Was the air refreshing?" She stiffened immediately. Her whole body went rigid, and for the first time in months, she couldn't meet my eyes. She just mumbled something and rushed upstairs. I didn't push it, not yet. The next morning, it was like nothing had happened. She was being overly sweet, bustling around the kitchen making my favorite breakfast, humming a little tune. It was a performance, and a bad one at that. As I sat at the table, I looked at her and asked calmly, "Do you still believe you can replace me in 24 hours?" A deep blush spread across her face. She stammered, saying she didn't mean it, that she was just angry and said a stupid thing. I nodded slowly, pretending to believe her, letting her think she had gotten away with it. That afternoon, I paid a visit to my friend Leo. He owns the little cafe right near that hotel. I told him I thought someone had vandalized my car in the area and asked if he could check his security cameras for me, something he'd done for me before. He pulled up the footage, and there she was. Clear as day, on the sidewalk in front of the hotel. She was holding hands with the same man in the navy suit from the elevator. They were laughing, heads thrown back, looking like a pair of carefree teenagers in love. My heart didn't break in that moment, it just went numb. It was like watching a movie about someone else's life. That night, she didn't come home at all. Around 10 p.m., I got a text. "Staying with a friend tonight. Need some space." I didn't even reply. The space she needed was already occupied by someone else. The next day, she walked in around noon, wearing the exact same clothes from the day before. She looked surprised, almost shocked, to see me in the bedroom packing a suitcase. Her face fell. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. I didn't look at her. I just kept folding a shirt neatly. "I'm giving you the freedom you so clearly want," I said. All that confidence, all that arrogance from 2 nights ago, it just melted away instantly. She rushed over. "Can we please talk about this?" I finally looked at her. "We can talk," I said, "right after you finally tell me the truth." That was all it took. She collapsed onto the edge of the bed and started crying. Not quiet tears, but big, ugly sobs. She said it was a mistake. She said she didn't mean for it to happen. She launched into a long, rambling story about how she felt neglected and lonely. I let her finish, and then I said, "Lonely people talk. They don't cheat." She tried to grab my hand, but I pulled it away. "Is there any chance we can fix this?" she pleaded. I paused my packing and asked her, "Does the man from the hotel think you're worth fixing?" She broke down again, her shoulders shaking. I continued packing calmly, folding each shirt with deliberate care, as if this were just any ordinary trip. She watched me through her tears. "Where are you going?" she asked in a small voice. "Somewhere peaceful," I replied. "Somewhere silent. Somewhere where trust isn't just a distant memory." I zipped the bag shut. The sound was so final. She jumped up and begged me not to leave. She swore she would cut all ties with him, that she'd do whatever it took to make it right. I shook my head. "Promises made after you get caught are worth nothing." I picked up my suitcase and walked towards the door. She followed me, crying so loudly I could see our neighbors peeking through their blinds. "Do you hate me?" she cried out. I stopped at the door and turned back. "No," I said honestly. "Hate isn't what I feel. What I feel is disappointment. It's heavy, and it's not going anywhere." She reached for my arm one last time, her face desperate. I stepped back, out of her reach. "You know," I said, my voice quiet, "relationships don't end because someone better comes along. They end when one person stops trying." She whispered that she still loved me. I whispered back, "You should have loved me before you betrayed me." And with that I walked out. I didn't look back. The sound of my suitcase wheels rolling on the pavement was the only sound I heard besides her sobs echoing down the hallway. When I reached my car, I put the suitcase in the back and just sat in the driver's seat for a minute. I took a deep, long breath.